Hi guys, I'm Kasha. Welcome to the channel, to my wonderland, and in today's copy time I have for you my review on The Curse of La Llorona. If you're new to the channel, welcome, and make sure to click the subscribe button so that you don't miss any more coffee times with me. And now let's start with our movie review.
It's coffee time!
The Curse of La Llorona, it is an American supernatural horror film directed by the debut director Michael Chabeth, and this is the 6th installment in the Conjuring universe, and also it is being produced by James Wan, which is the creator of the Conjuring movies. The movie was officially released on the 19th of April, but I was able to watch it 1 week before that because it was premiering in Germany in a film festival that we had here in Cologne, so I was able to watch it before others. The movie has been doing so well in the box office so far, which I am glad. And also on the opening weekend, 49% of the audience were Hispanic, which I think it is great. Fun fact is that the version that I watched was the original English version of the movie, and it had no subtitles. I don't know why, because there were parts where they were speaking in Spanish to each other or singing something in Spanish, which was important to the story, but there were no subs. So I don't know if it was because this was a premiere of the movie, so before it hit the official theaters here in Germany. But you know, for me it was no problem because I speak Spanish, but I was feeling bad for everybody else in the room that didn't. Our main character is played by Linda Cardellini, which we get to see more and more in movies lately. And we also get to see Tony Amendola, who plays Father Perez, who was also in the Annabelle movies. So, La Llorona, this is a movie that it is based on a myth from the Mexican culture. And basically, La Llorona, it is a woman that lived in the 1600s in Mexico, and her boyfriend or husband cheated on her. So she thought to herself, what can I do to inflict as much pain as I can on this man? So she decided to drown her children in a river. So one after the other, she drowned her children and then she killed herself. So now she has been cursed to roam the earth as a ghost and keep on crying and crying because of what she did, because she feels ashamed of what she did. And the word Llorona means the weeping woman. That's how it's been translated in some countries. And basically the children in our modern society hear her crying, her weeping, and she steals kids from other people and drowns them and kills them because that is her curse. This is a loose spin-off on the Conjuring universe. So we have, you know, dolls, we have evil demons, we have the crooked man that we're gonna get soon, I think, and we have now the weeping woman. So I love all of these different spin-offs that we're getting from the Conjuring universe. For me, I think this is kind of like a guilty pleasure universe. Let's say that the first Conjuring was great, the other ones are good movies but maybe not as great, and they all turn to follow the same kind of path. It's kind of like a copy-paste style of movies, but for some reason I like them, so call it a guilty pleasure if you like. And the same happened with the, you know, The Curse of La Llorona. I really liked this one, particularly because it was touching something that was very specific to a myth, a Mexican myth, and it made it like super interesting to me. So allegedly there was supposed to be a scene in the movie that was cut off that was going to be really 100% showing that this movie, it is based on the Conjuring universe. This deleted scene was supposed to be the last scene in the movie, and they said that it was probably going to be included on the Blu-ray, so we will have to wait for that. So now let's talk about the plot of the movie. So we're following this woman, she's called Anna, and she lives alone with her children. She is a widow and she helps social services. So we are also in the 70s, which makes this movie also really cool. So we're in the 70s and we have our social worker, single mom, still grieving the loss of her husband, and she is investigating one of the social cases. and it is this woman that apparently has lost her mind and locked his kids on a room in her house, and she thinks that she has just lost it, so she takes the kids and puts the kids in kind of like a foster hospital for the time being. And the mother of the kids is trying to explain to Anna that she's just trying to save the children from the weeping woman, but since the kids were separated from the mom and they were taken out of this room where she was hiding them, they are now vulnerable to the weeping woman who ends up taking the kids. This is how the story starts, and after these events, the weeping woman gets attached to our main character, Anna, so she gets attached to her children and starts hunting the family. Let's talk now about the actors. I think they all did a great job. The kids specifically, there were some moments where the kids were maybe not 100% on point, but it is really hard to make a movie like this where most of the screen time it is with the children while they're being hunted by these weeping women. Now let's talk about some of the things that I really enjoyed about the movie. I really enjoyed the whole Hispanic background and all of the things that they have tried to incorporate from the culture, and I also really appreciated the whole atmosphere and tone that the movie had. I like that we got the whole background from La Llorona and we saw what happened back then that has turned her into this kind of evil ghost, evil spirit that is hunting children now. One of the things that I might not have enjoyed so much is that there were way too many jump scares. I did appreciate that they were not stereotypical jump scares where there is like this loud sound, or you know that you see it 100% coming and it's just not enjoyable anymore. Even though you could see these jump scares kind of coming, sort of, they tried to make them in a more original approach, using a lot of different things to do this. I don't want to give too much away here. I will talk a little bit more about this on the spoiler part, but some of these jump scares were kind of expected and they take out sometimes the credibility of the movie and they kind of break the great atmosphere that the movie had. Now it's time to go to all of those spoilers to the T, and I'm gonna talk to you about some things that I liked and disliked, some of the theories, and also go more into detail on some things that I might have already mentioned. So I mentioned that one of the things that I really love is that they included more cultural Hispanic things into the movie, and one of the characters that for me was a great addition to this movie was the character of El Curandero, which is somebody that kind of is like a shaman in a way. They kind of use like natural things and objects in order to fight evil and spirits, and the Mexican culture really believes in the figure of El Curandero, and even though they might have some ways of getting rid of spirits that might look a little bit simple, crazy, or funny, because there were some people in the cinema that laughed when this guy was performing this kind of like spirit exorcism kind of thing, and I felt really bad because I thought that was a really good portrayal of the culture, the Mexican culture, even though I'm not Mexican myself, but I have Mexican friends, and I thought that that figure was so important. I really liked that actor, and I felt bad that people laughed in the cinema about that because people are just accustomed to a regular, you know, 1, 2, 3 ABC horror, and when you bring them something new, sometimes they refuse to accept that and they just think it's funny, and that kind of pissed me off. Can you tell? Can you tell it pissed me off? Because it did. And so I just want to mention how much I liked this part. So one of the things that I loved about the jump scares, like I said, I'm not a fan of jump scares. I think it's a cheap way of getting a reaction from the audience, but I appreciated that they went into the more creative part, even though they were jump scares in the end, but they were using like mirrors indoors, and they were using all of these different angles. There's something also with the water, and also something with the umbrella, and they're kind of trying to give you a jump scare but approaching it in a different way that it's kind of original and a little bit unexpected. So I did appreciate that. And now that we mentioned the water, I love that the water was present throughout the whole movie in a lot of different ways, you know, like rain, the swimming pool, and like little patches of water on the hallways. Like, I love that they kept the theme of the water present throughout the whole movie, also with the colors, these kind of like faded colors that remind you of water and blues. I really love that. So the connection with The Conjuring that we see clearly is thanks to the figure of the Father Perez, who is a priest in the church, and he meets Anna. And Anna tells him, you know, basically she begs for help because her family is being hunted by La Llorona. And he says that the church has a special program to try to help people like her, but that probably help is gonna come too late. So he suggests her to use this curandero. And while they're chatting, he does mention that one time he had some kind of encounter with an evil spirit and a doll. So he is basically referencing Annabelle, and there is also your connection with The Conjuring, apart from the priest who also appeared in the Annabelle movie. So there was supposed to be a last scene that would connect even more this movie to The Conjuring, and that was allegedly deleted, but we're still gonna get to see it on the Blu-ray. And in this scene, basically, we know that Anna took something from the ghost from La Llorona. She took this necklace that she was carrying with her. So the end scene was supposed to be Anna handing this necklace to Raymond, who is El Curandero, and he said that he knew of a couple that could put that into safety and make sure that La Llorona would not be coming back. So this would be a clear reference to Ed and Lorraine Warren, who keep these artifacts safe in this room that we know from The Conjuring, and they would be then the ones that they would get the La Llorona necklace to keep it safe with the other stuff. And there's been even rumors that this necklace is going to appear in Annabelle 3 or something like that. I'm not really sure, but we will see, because this year we're still getting Conjuring 3 and Annabelle 3. The movie does feel very tropey. We have this myth, this priest that explains the myth. We have an object attached to the ghost. The ghost is hunting children. There is a sort of exorcism, but all in all, I really enjoyed the movie. I would have wished though that they would not have shown so much from so early on. The whole full-on face of La Llorona, I think we could have kept the mystery and the tension for a little bit longer, but I did love what they did with the character. And there is a scene that I did not really like that much that I would like to mention, and it is when Raymond, the curandero, is inside the house trying to help the family. They build sort of a barrier in the main door, and they put this kind of like, I think it's wood or the leaves from a specific tree where La Llorona committed suicide, and that's supposed to keep her away from the house. So they build like this line on the door so that she would stay away from it, but nobody thought that there's a back door, and they only realized that later on. And I thought, was that really on purpose? Why would they even mention there is a back door? Did they realize that there was a mistake? I don't know, that felt weird. And also we have this typical scene where one of our characters is gonna do something stupid. When the barrier is on the door, the daughter realizes her favorite doll is outside, so she needs to grab it, and there is like a 5-minute footage of the daughter trying to grab the doll, and you're just sitting there like, no, why are you doing this? This is stupid. You're being stupid. You know, it's one of those moments, and they drag that for too long. And yeah, so if I had to mention something that I really didn't like about the movie, it would be that particular scene that ends up also on the family realizing that there's a back door. What kind of movies would I recommend you to watch? Well, any Conjuring movies. because this is based on the same universe. It kind of follows the same pattern. It's kind of like cut on the same way, and it has sort of the same atmosphere. So I would recommend you to watch the other Conjuring movies, Annabelle and The Nun. But basically everything with haunted houses might be something for you if you enjoyed this movie. I would definitely recommend 100% to check out the Netflix exclusive Haunting on Hill House. That series is fantastic. It's fabulous. I love it. It's so well done. It's the cinematography is just on point, so I would really recommend you to watch that one as well. So I'm gonna give this movie a score of 7 out of 10. I know it's high. I was debating giving it a 6, but in the end I really enjoyed the movie. I really appreciated that they brought something a little bit different, which is a complete different story from a different country like Mexico, and we got all the folklore and everything surrounded to the myth of La Llorona. I would have wished though that they would have done this movie 100% in Mexico, which was not the case. I think it was based on Los Angeles, and I think it would have had so much more character and so much more atmosphere if we would have put the movie in Mexico. I think it would have given even more originality. But all in all, I really enjoyed the movie. I know a lot of people are gonna tell me that they are rating this like a 3 out of 10, but I enjoyed it. I like this kind of hunting spirits movies, and I thought it was well done, even though it had its little plot holes or things that I didn't like. But let me know down below what you thought of the movie. Let me know which is your favorite from the Conjuring universe, and if you enjoyed La Llorona as much as I did. Thanks so much you guys for watching. Give the video a thumbs up for support. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any more coffee times with me. The links to my Facebook, Instagram and Twitter are also in the description box down below for you. So make sure to follow me on those platforms as well. And I hope to see you all in the next coffee time. Bye!